You might walk past it every day, maybe even think it's just some weed.
Uh-huh.
But mullein leaf, the one with the really soft, fuzzy leaves, it's actually an old herbal remedy. It's got quite a history.
It really does. A surprisingly rich one.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into mullein, what it is, what people have used it for traditionally, and importantly, what the actual research says.
Yeah, what we really know.
Exactly. Our goal here is just to give you some clear, unbiased insights, help you be well-informed.
And just before we jump in, it's really important to say, this is all for educational purposes.
Right.
It's definitely not medical advice. Don't use it to diagnose or treat anything. Always, always talk to your doctor or another healthcare professional before you make any health decisions or try a new supplement.
Absolutely essential. Okay, so let's get into it, Mullein. What is it exactly?
Well, scientifically, it's verbascum. It's a biennial herb, meaning it lives for 2 years. You find it pretty much everywhere.
And it's quite distinctive looking, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Those soft, kind of fluffy leaves are a dead giveaway. And then there's that tall flower stalk. Looks a bit like a candlestick, really. Can get quite tall.
Over 6 feet sometimes. Wow. And people have used this for centuries.
Centuries, yeah. All sorts of things. Which is interesting because modern science is starting to look into why.
Okay, so what have scientists found? What's in mullein?
They've identified several active compounds, things like saponins, flavonoids, glycosides, iridoids. Basically, the plant's natural chemical toolkit.
And these compounds, they do things.
Well, research suggests they do. They seem to have properties that are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, even antitussive, which means helping with coughs.
Okay, cough suppressant.
Right. And also expectorant, so helping thin mucus. Plus, some studies, mainly in the lab, show antibacterial and antiviral activity against certain types of bacteria and viruses.
So lab studies show potential. How does that line up with how people used it traditionally?
It lines up pretty well, actually. Respiratory stuff is huge. Coughs, colds, asthma, bronchitis. Mullein tea was and still is very common for that.
I read somewhere about a really old study, like 19th century, involving tuberculosis.
Yes, there's a historical report. Claimed success in treating TB patients with mullein. Of course, that's very old data, not a modern clinical trial, but it shows how long it's been considered for serious lung issues.
Interesting historical note. What else? It wasn't just for lungs, right?
No, not at all. Topically, it was used for wound healing, think burns, splinters. There was even a more recent human trial looking at a mullein cream for episiotomy wounds. Showed some positive results in healing.
Wow, okay.
And then there's pain and inflammation. It's been looked at for osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, some compounds like camphorol might play a role there, also for gut or liver inflammation, and some skin conditions.
It really sounds like a jack of all trades in traditional medicine. What about infections? You mentioned lab studies.
Yeah, in vitro studies have shown activity against things like influenza A, the flu virus, and even herpes simplex virus in a lab setting. Again, in vitro, not in people yet.
Got it. Lab only for now. Any other traditional uses worth mentioning?
Well, people also used it for diarrhea, believe it or not, and various skin problems too, like eczema, acne, rashes, applied topically usually.
So how do people use mullein today? Is it mostly tea?
Tea is very popular, yeah. People like it because you get the whole herb, including something called mucilage, which can be soothing for mucous membranes, like in your throat.
Makes sense for coughs.
Exactly, but you also find it as oils, often used as eardrops. But, and this is critical, never, ever ingest mullein oil. It's for external use only.
Good warning. Okay, what else? Creams, supplements.
Yep, creams, extracts, capsules. It's available in lots of forms. Oh, and historically, some cultures actually smoked the dried leaves for respiratory ailments.
Smoked it, really?
Yeah. But definitely not something recommended for regular use now. Smoking anything long-term isn't great for your lungs, obviously.
Right, common sense there. Okay, this all sounds quite promising, but we need to bring it back to the science. Where does the solid evidence stand?
And that's the crucial point. While the traditional use is extensive and the lab studies show potential, a lot of that evidence is, as we said, in vitro. Test tubes.
Not humans.
Not robust human clinical trials. For the most part, they're still quite limited for mullein. Plus, there's the issue of bioavailability for some of these compounds.
Meaning your body doesn't absorb them well.
Exactly. So even if a compound looks great in a test tube, it might not actually get into your system to do much good when you take it. So the bottom line from current research, There's actually very little scientific evidence to say mullein effectively treats any specific human health condition.
That's a really important reality check.
It is, and it ties into safety and regulation too. Mullein itself is generally seen as safe, few side effects reported, but dietary supplements, well, they aren't regulated like prescription drugs by the FDA, meaning what's on the label isn't always what's in the bottle. Potency can vary wildly. Quality can vary. There's a risk of contamination.
So buyer beware, essentially.
Absolutely. Which brings us back to talk to your doctor or pharmacist, especially crucial if you're pregnant, nursing, thinking of giving it to kids, or if you have any ongoing health issues. And if you use it topically, like a cream or oil, do a patch test first to check for irritation.
Okay, so we've journeyed through Mullein's long history, from folk remedy to what modern science is starting to piece together.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, isn't it? How this traditional knowledge keeps pushing scientists to ask new questions, to really test these natural remedies. Makes you think about that whole process.
It really does. So for you listening, now that you have this deeper understanding, what does it all mean?
Well, it kind of leads to a bigger question, doesn't it? When you encounter something like Mullein long history, some promising science, but still needing more solid proof, how do you sift through that? How do you decide what to trust and how to act responsibly for your own health?
That's the key takeaway, really. Remember, this deep dive is here to inform you, but you're